Alright, everyone, welcome to Grindhouse Scrims Week 1, the inaugural Scream. Um, we will be seeing Akuma versus Eunoia for, the first matchup. We will be seeing Akuma on killer first, Lucant on the killer. Pardon me, just a moment. There we go. I do apologize. We'll be seeing Mastermind, Demo, and Ghostface sets. First hit coming in pretty early for Lucant here. Chasing hater mode. Get the early down. This is looking like a very good start for Akuma here. We'll be taking our ace to a mid hook, possibly getting a pain res here. Yes, that is a pain res, and we will be going to look for whatever progress is on the map. We do find Scrolly here. I apologize. His names are a little weird to pronounce. We'll be taking chase onto the Jake at this top mid filler. Filler will be going down. And our killer will be trying to play this. If I do remember correctly, one of these teams is Russian, so the ping is going to be a little spicy here. Jake will be going down, and this will be the second hook of the match at 5 gens remaining. With 2 pain reses out of the way, it would seem. Our Wesker will be following Ace here at the top side of the map. Ace is still infected. This could be a very bad situation here. Ace gets hit through this window, but he does not get insta down. I don't think our killer realized just how far progressed they were. Nancy will be taking a hit to get Ace a little bit of distance, but due to the minus 8%, it's a little too little. He's just slowed down a little too much for him to make much distance. He will be going into this Orman tile, trying to greed this pallet, and gets the stun. We'll be taking distance towards the top side of the map once again. And we'll be getting hit through the pallet with the gun knife. This will be Ace's second hook of the match. This is a pretty bad situation for our survivors. We could see potentially one more gen pop here. But this will be somebody on death hook at 4 gens remaining. Our killer finds another pretty highly progressed gen. We do see scratch marks, so we know someone is around. There's not much progress on the map, it would seem. This is Nancy walking with sprint burst. We'll be taking distance to the top side of the map, but our killer will not be committing to that. He has a hook in the center of the map. He's in a very good position to hold this, force the death, and then play it from there. Our killer knows he's at most going to lose 1 gen for this camp out, but I don't think our survivors have enough progress on the map to really even be playing this. They have to save this. If Ace dies here, this will be a very, very bad situation for our survivors. They really, really need to double save this or trade it. Yep, that would be the choice our survivors are going to be making. But Ace dies anyway. The survivors body blocking each other just a little bit. Our killer taking advantage here. And now we'll be chasing another survivor who has already been hooked. This will be Jake's second hook if he gets caught. Jake playing the check spots on this pallet very, very well. Not falling for any of these mind games here. Jake will be leaving the pallet, taking a little bit of distance away. But I think Bloodlust 2 is going to catch him out here soon. Our killer needs to break this pallet. It's just a little too safe. Oh, but Jake makes a mistake and vaults into the killer. Bloodlust 3 kicking in there, and this will be Jake on his second hook. We do hear a gem pop in the distance, though. That is a little bit of a relief for our survivors, though we're still in a very bad position. One person on deathlook with 2 gens remaining. And we know where all 3 survivors are on the map. One on the hook, one most likely going a little bit further down towards the bottom, going down that 2 side, and the other should be pushing up from 8 here to try and attempt for a save. Our killer knows that our survivors here are in a very bad position to even try for this save. He will be trying to hold this, get as much pressure as he can, hold it, keep them from relieving some of the stress that this killer is putting them through. The most likely course of action here is our survivors should be trying to either double or split 2 gens here while Jake dies on the hook. We do see progress on this gen at 2. We know that Nancy was at the bottoms very, very recently. I apologize, Quentin was at the bottom. We will be kicking this gen towards the bottom of the map. And we'll be continuing for a chase here. Quentin will be getting hit through the window and taking as much distance as he can get. That might have even been Lithe. Our killer will be trying to cut him off, keep him a little bit further away from the gens, keep him away from Nancy, and we'll be going to push Nancy off of this generator, prevent it from popping as much as he can. We did just hear Nancy vault something. It might have been a slow vault on this double window, or it might have been quick and quiet into a locker. It does seem that it was a slow vault on the window. Our killer not quite able to get that bound in time. Nancy will be going back towards the main. We'll be pressuring Quentin at check. Quentin is infected and most likely will be full infection very, very soon. This could be a pretty bad situation for our survivors. That will be Quentin going down. If our killer has a pain res in the area... No, our killer will be dropping and going back to pressure that gen. But I do believe Nancy should pop it. She does pop it in time. Will be pressuring her back towards the top of the map. Away from her select teammate. We'll be trying to end this game now. Nancy will be taking chase to main. She does have these pallets at main still, I do believe. Yes, she has both of the pallets and the windows, and no doors have been broken. Main is still in its strongest state, so she could potentially hold the killer here for a very long time if she plays this correctly. She will be dropping this pallet. She will be leaving the pallet at the opportune moment. We'll be going upstairs, dropping down. And she will be trying to vault before getting hit. No, she will not vault. She will get hit, though. And we'll be taking chase back around, trying to make this window last as long as she possibly can. Oh, she tries to window tech. That was very risky. I think she maybe should have just held W around. She would have made it. And that will be the end of this match. Nancy will be getting hooked, and our killer here will be looking for Quentin on the ground. Once Quentin is hooked, this game is inevitably going to end very, very soon. So, let's see where Quentin has crawled off to. Our killer seems to think Quentin has crawled off into one of these corners. Though with the time he was on the ground, he could be anywhere on the map at this point. He could also be in basement. Our killer will be checking the basement for Quentin here. Not quite sure where he is. He might. I do think Quentin might have crawled up the left side of the map towards the top side to try and bleed out. I'm not sure if Grindhouse Scrims uses the same rule set that has been coined by a lot of leagues now, where bleed outs count for full hook points but no bleed out, or no fresh point, and that is where Quentin was going. Regardless, it does not matter now. Quentin will be going on the hook. And just for confirmation, fresh bleed outs do remove 1 fresh point. But our killer will be finding Quentin in time, and that will be the end of this match. And we will be back very shortly with the next match of this first set, so stay tuned. Alright everyone, welcome back to Grindhouse Scrims. This is the second match of the first set of Akuma versus Eunoia, Wesker Scrims. We will be seeing hate mode on the Wesker. We'll be breaking door at main. And we do see scratch marks. We do find another survivor at main. 2 survivors are here. This is good information for our killer to know what our survivors are doing in this situation. We will be taking chase onto Ace. We will be seeing the first pallet go down around the main building. These pallets are pretty safe, at least in terms of Wesker's power. Wesker will be trying to force Ace away, and we'll be getting the nasty hit around that corner, playing his bounds just right. We will be following Ace back into main. He will be greening this pallet. An interesting decision. This is typically a pallet you see get pre-dropped a lot. Oh, and a very nice Euro bend from our killer here. We'll be getting Ace down pretty early on, and this will be the first hook of the match. Notably, we do see that our killer is running pain res as well. And we see that a survivor is working this gen by logs, and it gets pain res. That's good information for our killer here. We know where 2 of the highly progressed gens are. That will be a lot of pressure relief for our killer. We will be going right back to hook. Our survivor's unhooking just a little bit too early. Ace will be taking this chase to a god filler. Our killer will be forced to break it. And we will be following Ace back to the TNLs, but Ace not quite pathing well, but just barely gets thrown out into the open. We'll be taking chase back at this Huntress tile. And we'll be forced to play the window. Ace will be going down, the -8 kicking in. The first gen popping, but this will be Ace's second hook of the match. That generator on the logs has been stopped on its regression. Our killer should be kicking this and then returning to hook to confirm this kill. And that is exactly what he will be doing. We do see the second generator popping, but we know where the third most progress gen is, and it has been popped. So it won't be getting popped anytime soon here. Survivors will have to pressure the hook and the gen. Our survivors really just need to say, yeah, I'm calling your bluff. You're not gonna stand by this generator. You want to confirm that kill, we're gonna pressure this gen in your face. Oh, our killer trying for a nasty bound, but not quite able to. Notably, I do believe Nia is around this hook somewhere. We know where LeConte is, but we don't have exact information on where the other 2 survivors are. This will be Ace dying on the hook. Our survivors content to take progress over the unhook. Nia drops just a little too soon, and we will be seeing her get hit pretty early on here. A very nice throw into the logs, and we will be following her as she's around the most progress gen. And this should be her going down here. Yes, it is. Our killer is going to be looking to pain res again. And that is a very fortunate pain res placement. We will be seeing it apply to a generator. Notably not this generator at logs, which means there is a more highly progressed gen somewhere else on the map. Our killer is fairly confident that it is this main building generator, and he is correct. We will be popping this main building gen, trying to hold this top 3 gen as much as we can. Though I do think it is a little too far to be trying to hold. We do see Renato is out in the edge map. And Nia zones herself towards Shack. Our killer is going to be trying to force the infection, I do believe, to try and hold pressure on these survivors, who thus far have been pressuring the generators very, very effectively. Nia will be continuing the chase at Shack, taking the window, and taking it wide. Our killer not quite expecting the flare, but notably now Nia is infected. She's fully infected. If our killer catches her, she's insta down. And this will be her second hook, and she's going into the basement. Suddenly chasing at Shack becomes a little bit more of a problem, but we do see the top gen at 12 popping, and we see the mid gen popping here. The 3 gen split is disgustingly wide for our survivors. A very, very nice split. Our killer is going to have to either commit to confirming a 2K or committing away. He gets a very, very nice bound off of the hill. We'll be getting an early hit onto Adam and following Sin back around main. But I do believe, yeah, we do have this pallet left. Adam will be greeting it as well. Our killer getting stuck just a little bit. Unfortunate. Oh, Adam winning the 50-50 at that pallet in terms of ping. Adam will be holding this pallet as it's very, very safe and it has to be broken. Our Wesker will break it, and I do think he should be leaving this chase soon. Survivor, though their only resource remaining up at this part of the map is the main building window, they still have a very, very safe chance of getting away from there. Oh, our survivor vaults, misplaying it just a little bit. But we have LeConte around for the flashlight save, waiting for it. And now I think we should be seeing a hit tank. We do. Our killer will be throwing him out into the edge map, and this could be a 2-tap. Renato has no resources here. All he has is a Z-wall. Our killer very, very well, faking the double back very, very well, and getting the swing around the corner to get this down. But I don't think our killer can make a pain res before the last gen pops. No, he can't. Sin should be cleansing here soon. And our killer really has no backup plan in the instance of an endgame. We do see Sin cleansing. Very close to where our Wesker was positioned. But we also see that Nia is moving back towards the door. Nia is going in for the save. Very, very risky. That will be Nia going down, and there is now a slug and a hook in this situation. We know where the last survivor is. We are following them down towards the bottom of the map. Oh, our killer going for a cheeky swing on the window. Adam will be holding chase at the shack, trying to last as long as possible. Oh, our killer actually caught him off guard, blocking it, keeping him from vaulting. But we should be seeing Adam making it to the unhook here. No, Adam will not be going for the unhook. Oh, he gets stunned through it. That looked like it most likely should have hit Adam, but this recovers the match. We will be taking the fresh hook on Adam and following one of our injured survivors here. I believe we are choosing to follow Lucant here, though we know Nia went back towards the bottom side of the map. Nia will be opening the door and they should be leaving. We do see Renato here. This is a very bad situation as now we have 2 downs again. And this will be a 3K. This will be a 3K11 for our killer. Not a bad result at all. With that being said, we will be back shortly with the second set of the scrim. We will be seeing Demo Eunoia killing first. So stay tuned. Alright everyone, welcome back to Grindhouse Scrims Week 1. Akuma versus Eunoia. Now we will be seeing, I do believe this is Eunoia on the killer. And we will be seeing Kapuska playing Demogorgon versus Sin Lucant. I believe that is Miv and 3P. I do apologize, I am not fluent in Russian. I cannot read their name, but we will call them 3. We do spot 2 survivors at main building. We'll be taking chase on to 3. We do see Kate running back through main. We'll be trying to take advantage of bounce landing, I do believe. We did not see her up top, and we did not hear her drop. She did indeed go back down. We'll be taking advantage of this window. We don't have BAM on our killer here. Our killer will be holding his shred out, trying to force this pallet. Our survivor thought they had a chain tile here, but they don't. This should be the first hit. It is indeed. It looks a little spicy based on the ping, but survivor will be taking this chase right back to main building. We should be... Oh, we are not throwing that car pallet. We are instead going to the edge map tile here. Our killer should be trying to force this pallet out a certain way, but our survivor is instead content to take the down, save the pallet a little bit for a little bit later, and this will be an early first down. We might see the first generator pop here. No, we managed to get the pain res off in time. And this is not the most progressed gen. We could be seeing 2 gens pop off in the distance, buying us just a little bit of time. We're gonna be taking chase onto Sin. Sin crouching the Demogorgon shred. We'll be taking the window. Sin could be the life player. I do believe we saw him slow vault. We will be seeing this pallet go down. And we'll be taking the chase further bottom. That mid-gen just popping. I'm sorry, I do apologize. It was the 5 o'clock gen that popped. But the regression on this generator has been stopped. We will be kicking it and leaving that chase. No reason to continue chasing a healthy survivor who has not been hooked yet. Instead, we will be looking for 3 once again, trying to get as much pressure out of them as we can at this point, with the amount of progress that has been put onto these generators. We did hear Renato drop, so we know it is not the balanced landing player. Our killer is going to try to force this pallet out. I think he should be trying to loop it the other way. We'll be getting the pallet out. But we will be seeing 2 survivors working on this generator and electing to go for them as instead. We do find 3 again. He has been hooked once already. And we will be trying to get a second hook onto him. Our killer is a little bit too attached to this generator. I think we should just be letting it go. It's gonna pop. Cannot hold it. And we do see 3 once again. We should just be taking pressure here. Another thing to note is that we do have the classic Coal Tower 3 gen along with another gen not too far further down the map. We do have a little bit of a 4 gen if our killer chooses to hold it. We will be continuing chase on to 3 here. We'll be eating a couple of pallets and a body block hit here. Ace will be getting in between. We should be just taking... Oh, that's a bit of a mistake here from 3. Taking it a little further away from their body blocker. I think it was a miscommunication there. I don't think they communicated where they were going. As that's not typically something you see when they're coordinating correctly. We'll be seeing main building generator pop and the 1 o'clock generator pop for that chase. And we will be at 1 gem with 2 hooks. This is very, very dicey situation for our killer. At this point, what our killer needs is to get someone on the ground, have pressure on the survivors by having 1 person dead, 1 person on the ground, possibly another in chase, or we could take 3 injuries and be pressuring to ensure that they are not getting the save. Looks like our killer here will be electing to try and pressure the survivors from getting the save. They do have gens in a straight line, so they can maybe manage to hold these just a little bit once they get down to 3 survivors remaining. But it looks like we'll be taking chase onto Renato here. Oh, and that is a spicy hit. That is an example of cross-region ping if I've ever seen one. Kant will be holding chase close to Shaq, but he crouches in that little bit of distance in just enough for our killer to get the down, but the last generator will be popping here. Our killer does not have an insurance policy for endgame. A very, very risky decision to bring Gift of Pain over something like Noed that would give them the safety. Give them the safety of knowing that they have at least a backup plan in place to confirm 2 kills. We will be following Ace around the main building. He will be taking a hit for that. Trying to save live while also getting across the pallet. That was a little bit risky of a play, especially considering the ping that our killer is on. This will be live coming out from Ace, I do believe. Yes, that was indeed live. And we will be seeing body blocks trying to get Ace out. This is where Noed would come into play and be very, very helpful. But our killer gets around the body block. Not even concerned at all with it. Oh, the range just not quite enough to get Nia down. That would have been a very nice... Oh, it is a very nice pressure. It's very, very nice pressure for our killer here. This will be Nia going onto a hook. This is extra stages. She will inevitably be getting out if the survivors play this correctly, but this is extra pressure for our killer. Ace should have been crawling to safety. He crawls to a pallet, but we know where the last survivors are, so we will just go ahead and pick. No threat of being pallet saved in this instance. And our survivors will be taking the outs, and that will be a 2k8 for our killer. Not bad at all for a result. And we will be back shortly for the second match of the second set. with Eunoia. I apologize. Akuma on the killer. We will see you soon. Alright everyone, welcome back to Grindhouse Scrims Week 1, the inaugural stream. We will be in for Set 2, Game 2, Akuma versus Eunoia. This is Loquant on the killer for Akuma versus Hate Mode Scrolly, TNA for real, and Kaputska. We will be finding our Quentin player here at 10. Oh, it was looking like a very, very fast down for a moment, but it's not quite gonna connect. We'll be breaking the main doors, trying to get this window a little bit weaker, and we will be continuing with the chase, taking this pallet as soon as we can. A very good pallet to have out of the way very, very quickly. We do see a switch perk choice for our killer here. Last match we saw a very, very questionable pick of Gift of Pain. This match we will be seeing Bam instead. We'll be continuing the chase on to Quentin and taking the door break here. Getting it out of the way. Trying to make main building as weak as possible. And our survivor will be pre-dropping this pallet. This pallet's a little bit on the weaker side if our killer plays this correctly. Our survivor here is playing this expertly. But he will be going down as inevitably it will be bloodlusted, and this will be our Quentin on his first hook. This should be a pain res, and it is. It didn't hit the shin, which means we have another very highly progressed gen somewhere on the map. We'll be taking the pop onto this gen and looking around to see if we can find them. We don't find whoever we suspected to be at the 5 structure, but we do see... Oh, did our killer not see the survivor there? Okay, so we saw another survivor at the tile where Quentin was most recently hooked. But we will be following Quentin to main building, and we should be getting a pallet out of him here soon. Yeah, that will be the pallet drop. And the down for it. 2 generators do pop, though. And this will be Quentin's second hook, a survivor on death hook, very, very soon into the match. The gens have been absolutely flying this match. Just very, very tricky for our killer to handle here, but he will be taking this hook and should be pressuring. We do find Nancy here, and the 3rd generator will be popping. And we will be finally breaking the last pallet at the main building. We know where 2 survivors are here, excluding our survivor on the hook. Oh, and we get the hit through the pallet. Very nasty, and we will be leaving, going back to the hook. We know the unhook will be coming in very soon. We saw a survivor moving that way. And this will be the unhook, and this should be a survivor out of the trail very soon if our killer can continue this. As it stands, our killer has a good bit of pressure here, 3 injuries, with 1 person on death hook. Quentin will be living down towards the bottom side of the map, trying to take the killer as far away from the remaining generators as he can. Quentin will be faking the window. Our killer caught it, and that will be Quentin going down. This will be a pretty... Oh, the flashlight save! Kaputska coming in for the flashlight save unexpectedly there. It did look almost late, but Kaputska just barely made it in time. Our killer definitely could have swung there to get that down. This will be Nancy taking an injury. Our killer should just... Yeah, our killer will be leaving this. The tunnel out just really not worth it. The amount of pressure is... Oh, the survivors got caught off guard. This could be Shack Pallet. This should be Shack Pallet gone. Survivors should be giving him this pallet and taking as much distance as they can. This should be Quentin dead unless somebody takes it down for him. No, Quentin will be making this pallet, but he's zoned to the bottom side of the map where he has no resources. Except for a hill. We know he is the Lithe player, so this will be Quentin down and dead. This time there is no Kaputska to save him, and this will be Quentin going into the basement and the fourth generator popping. Our survivors ideally at this point will be resetting, as we know where the most progress gen is, at least the most likely most progress gen is, as we just popped it. And we should be seeing the survivors resetting somewhere around 2 or 10 at this point. Not the wisest decision to not do so. We do hear Ace here, and he has balanced landing. He will be taking his distance towards the bottom side of the map, as far away from the other gens as he can. The shred just doesn't quite reach, but Ace is zoned by that. He does wave. Nancy could be in the area. No, Nancy's not in the area, and that will be Ace going on to his first hook. That was a pain resonance as well. I do believe the pain res hit this bottom generator. It did! Our survivors are playing this very risky by not resetting. That's 2 downs here that really shouldn't have happened if our survivors were resetting properly. Do find Nancy here, the last survivor up, and she should be going for the save here very soon. She will be getting the save, and I do believe it will be for free. No! It's not free! Our killer is more than content to wait out the BT onto Ace. And that will be Ace going back down. We know where all 3 survivors are here. This is a pretty good situation for our killer. I don't believe the survivors will have enough time to reset unless there's a will make it in play. No, they won't be resetting. We did see someone go off of the side of that hill. Not sure if our killer noticed them or not. We know where both survivors are. Nancy running towards this 4 lane. Our killer does not want to give up this hook yet, though. At this point, what our killer has to do is either commit to camping this survivor out, or find another survivor, down them while they're injured, to have the double pressure. We do hear Jake in the main building, but we don't go up to check on that generator, as we do want to continue watching that far gen and this hook. I do believe Nancy should be able to pop that generator if the killer commits all the way up to main. No, she commits in for the save. The killer just a little too confident that they won't be able to get it. We did hear Jake drop, and we do know that Ace is the balance player, so we will be getting it down pretty quickly. The fatigue dooming Jake to only be able to play this tile, basically. At this point, there's a good bit of progress on the map in terms of generators, and that will be the last generator popping. That will be a fresh stage. If they manage to tie this, all they need is a 2k8. We do hear Ace in the area. Nancy will be taking Shrimpers back towards main. Oh, but not quite able to get it. And there's an adrenaline in play. Our killer kind of lost track of Nancy for a moment there. I do believe she is our ideal down here, too. Killer needs to get somebody worth at least 2 stages to tie and 3 stages to win. But in order to get 3 stages, he will have to hook at least 2 survivors. Nancy will be trying to make her way over. She will be trying for Shaq. And she'll be getting Hatch, I do believe. Unless our killer has managed to body block her. No, she gets the out. What a turn, man. That'll be Eunoia winning the set. That being said, we will be back very shortly with the next set, so don't go anywhere. Alright everyone, welcome back to Grindhouse Scrims Week 1. Akuma versus Eunoia. We will be seeing Akuma on the killer, LeConte playing Ghostface for them in this third set. Just a reminder, we did see Akuma win the first set and Eunoia win this second set, so this will be the set for all the marbles. Our Ghostface is adventuring up towards the top side of the map. Not exactly... Oh, we do find a survivor! Our killer reading that positioning very, very well. We will be seeing a pretty early drop from the Nia. We'll be following her around this pallet and trying to maybe get a Bloodlust hit, maybe get a Mind Gain in, but... Excuse me, I apologize. This is a very safe pallet, and we do have to break it. Killer will be going back into stealth and leaving this chase, trying to find another survivor, get a little bit of stock up, try to have some built up for later in the match. We do find Scrolly here, our Jake player, get a little bit of stock on him, about 40%, and we find hate mode soon after. We get about 40% onto hate mode before we get taken out of it, and we will be kicking this generator. Our killer ideally finds a pretty quick hit here onto Jake. Oh, we do see that Jake is now about 80%ed. Our killer has no reason to commit to him now. Should be leaving him, saving him for later. We will be finding Ace here. And Ace, I do believe... Yeah, we will be taking a very quick hit. That is a pretty nasty ping hit that we just saw there. But we will be leaving, taking the pallet break. Oh, and oh, that was close to being a grab onto Kaputska there. That was a dangerous game. Larry's is one of the maps where you have to have very, very clean and clear comms. You have to be calling out the killer position very, very, very frequently. Trying to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Make sure that he is not getting the jump onto you, which is a very, very difficult task. I'm looking forward to see if our survivors can keep up good comms here. This map is one of those maps where if you are not calming correctly and you are not calming frequently enough and making sure that the killer is being called out at any given time, it becomes very, 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 very apparent in how survivors are positioning and how quickly they get found, how quickly they get stalked. We'll be seeing the first gen going. Interestingly, it was one of the corrupted generators at the top side of the map. Possibly could have been a double gen. We do hear Nia off to our left here. We heard the crow. I'm not sure if our killer noticed. She will be dropping this pallet, and I do believe she's going to be tapped here. No, she does make this pallet. Oh, our killer's swinging for that. Not quite able to hit it. The ping just not quite enough for that one. Nia will be continuing to loop this pallet. Oh no, Nia left. Our killer didn't pick up on that. Our Ghostface will be going back towards where he knows survivors have been on generators recently. We do find Ace. He doesn't have any stock. We are content to take the M1 onto him and kick this generator with Eruption. And we should be going to look for Jake, ideally. Jake or Nia would be ideal targets for our killer here. We find Jake here. This could be bad if our killer can punish this positioning. Ace not having called out where our killer is, presumably, at least not fast enough. And that is Jake exposed. This will be Jake making the pallet. Oh, but he gets down. He greeted for the stun. That's very, very unfortunate. That will be the down, and 2 survivors, I believe, revealed on Aura with eruption. 2 generators did explode. I do believe with the kind of ping hits that we've been seeing all night, it maybe would have been safer to just pre-drop the pallet and force the killer to break and take the distance to another safe pallet. We do find Kaputska here around the 8 o'clock area going towards main. We will be taking the tag and we will be leaving, trying to find the survivor that will be pushing for this unhook onto Jake. We do see the unhook come through. The survivor's very, very wisely going into the room to avoid getting stalked for free. Oh, and that will be Jake going down. Our killer able to very adeptly predict the double back. I do believe game mode should have tried to play for the hit there, but not just not quite able to get around for it. This will be the second hook onto Jake here, and we know that the third hook is on Kaputska, who is injured. And a very good target for our killer here. We don't have any stalk across the board, which can be a little bit of a problem. But if our killer can manage to get some stalk off onto these survivors. Oh, we find all 3 survivors here. And we do see Nia running back down towards the hook a little bit. This should be Nia going down. It is. Nia is another fresh hook, but the killer does not have to hook her at the moment. We know that there's another survivor moving down towards the unhook here. It's Nancy. Nancy will be taking the FTP, but Jake will be very, very quickly hit, which ends up in a pretty quickly wasted health state there. Oh, the crouch mind game working out for our killer here. This will be Jake out of the trial. 3 generators remaining. We haven't seen Ace in a while. He could be working one of those generators towards the top side of the map. No, we do see that Nia has just been reset, so presumably Nia and Ace are together. And Kaputska will be trying to stay somewhere safe, most likely towards the top side of the map, trying to stay out of harm's way. We do find Ace here. Our killer could lean to stalk him, but we will be taking the M1 instead. Our killer more content to play micro gameplay here rather than macro gameplay, which so far has worked out for him as there has only been 2 generators pop. And that will be Ace going down. Is there a pallet save? No, there is not a pallet save in play here. This will be Ace going on to his first hook, and it will be a pain res. The generator that's been regressed has been regressed multiple times, as we did hear the sound cue. We did get snapped out of our stock, though we are not exactly sure who snapped us out of Shroud. We'll be looking around for them if we can find them. This generator is off into the corner and pretty abandoned. Our survivors are not quite sure where the killer is at this point. Killer, the same for our survivors. We know at least 2 survivors were around the hook area, though they most likely have left the area by now. Oh, they didn't go far. We do... Oh! A very nice stun here. I do think our killer could be taking advantage of the fact that our survivors aren't exactly always calling out where the killer is. At least not on time here. could be taking advantage to try and get the jump on them as much as he can. Get some stock in, have it built up for later. But I think our killer is more content to play the game of reset. Get a hit, reset, leave them. Get another hit, have them reset it once again. It has bought him time on gens, though I do think having a couple of survivors, maybe one or two, with high stock would be more valuable here. Our killer will be stalking Nancy pretty highly here. And that would be Nancy going down pretty quickly. She just doesn't have anywhere to go here. This will be the second hook for Nancy. And just to refresh, we have 1 hook on Ace, 2 hooks on Nancy, and Jake was death hook. So our last fresh hook survivor here is, who is injured and would be a nice target to get. They are resetting somewhere. Our killer is not quite sure where. Most likely going to be resetting either at 3 or at the bottom side of the map, where there is more safety and less likelihood of the killer returning straight back to where the reset is. In macro sets like this, like Ghostface specifically, there is a lot of prediction that you can do. And that will be Ace going down. Oh, is that that's the firecracker save. Very expertly timed by the Nancy. And that will be both survivors getting some distance away. Our killer really should have at least pushed her off, taken the endurance out of her, and taken advantage of the situation. Nancy will be making use of this very, very safe window and this pallet, but unfortunately just not able to last long enough. Though we do see a gen pop off in the distance for this death, so that is a little bit of a bonus for our survivors here. Now we are down to a 2v1 and 2 generators remaining, 7 hooks on the board. Both survivors are healthy. This would be a good time for our killer to be trying to get stock up onto somebody, but instead we will be going for the M1 once again. I do believe with the amount of resetting that our survivors have been having to do, in this situation, Sloppy maybe would have been a better choice over one of his regression perks. Though all perks have served a pretty big purpose so far. We do spot Ace very, very close to this generator. He's playing it a little risky here. I think now our killer should be trying to take him out, slug him a little bit, try and find where the last survivor is, and get as much pressure as he can. Since we do know that the last survivor, Nia, CN3R, is fresh hook, ideally we will be wanting to find them. Nia does seem to be stealthing towards the top side of the map, where this generator at 1 is. She'll be playing it close to safety. We do hear terror radius into stealth. And we see the killer very, very close. Ideally here, the Nia will position her camera where she does not snap him out of stock. He has no information on where she is exactly. So her staying stealthy here would be very ideal. If Nia can wait out the bleed out on Ace, it would be a more consistent play to try and get Hatch. But that would be 3 minutes of Ace on the ground, and that would be a very, very long time for Nia to be stealthy. Especially against a Ghostface. Our Ghostface will be checking the edge of the map, trying to locate this Nia by any means. But Nia is playing the stealth pretty smartly, not playing exactly where you would expect her to, but she will be going for the pickup on to hate mode. Sneaking her way over as much as she can. Our Ghostface is checking up at the top of the map. If he had been there only 30 seconds before, he would have run into our other survivor. But he's just not quite sure where she is. She's in basement at the moment. I think our killer should be checking basement very soon. That is one of the most common places to look when a survivor is stealthing. Now our killer will be going back to the bottom side of the map. Checking at 6. I do apologize, this is not 6. Oh, our killer is going to basement now. This could be it for Nia here. Yeah, this is it for Nia. She's gonna be found if our killer... Oh, our killer finds her. Ideally, I think our killer should have gotten some stock on her while he was already in Shroud, but... At this point, this will be Nia going down. Nia is the more valuable target here. And we will be continuing chase onto Ace. I think there would be some value in our killer using our Shroud here. And taking the down, using it to get rid of the red stain in this situation. We'll be taking the hook onto Nia first. Taking both of them out of the trial. And this should be the end of this match. Very well played by both sides. Ghostface is a very, very difficult macro set. If you're not communicating perfectly, it will end in misery for the survivors. But at the same time, survivors that are coordinating perfectly and communicating flawlessly will absolutely punish a Ghostface trying to play macro. That being said, we're not exactly sure where the ace has crawled off to. Our killer will be looking around for him. He actually didn't crawl far, but our killer is going to find him now. Yeah, our killer finds the ace, and this will be the end of this trial. That being said, we will be back very, very shortly with the second match of the third set of Akuma versus Eunoia, so we will be seeing you very soon. Alright everyone, welcome back to set 3, game 2, Grindhouse Scrims week 1, Akuma versus Eunoia. This time we will be seeing Eunoia on the killer versus Akuma survivors. We'll be seeing Trout on the Ghostface versus Sin, Kate, Lucant, and M1V. Oh, we will be seeing our killer taking full advantage of stalk this time. A little bit of a complaint I had with the last match. Didn't see a whole lot of stalking going on. And we do see more of the traditional add-ons being brought this time with Drop-Leg Knife Sheath, and I believe that is Olsen's wallet. Oh, that is a nasty hit onto Ada. A little bit of a ping hit. You'll be taking this pallet, and yes, it does seem to be Olsen's wallet. This will be a very fast first down for our killer here. We'll be taking her back towards the little bit of the bottom side, bottom mid, and we will be getting, this should be a pain res hook if I'm not mistaken. It is indeed. We do see an interesting pick here instead of pop. We do see Call of Brine, a pick that I haven't really seen much since its nerf recently last year. Very, very interesting. We will be looking for survivors here, getting a little bit of stock across the board as much as we can. We do find Sin, get about 50% stock. He will be dropping this pallet, and we'll be breaking our Ghostface out of it. But he will be high progress on his stock. We'll be kicking this generator, and we will be going back towards the hook. At the moment, we have 2 survivors with a decent amount of stock on them. One of them is about 80%, the other is about 50%. We also have an injured survivor. Keep in mind that progress on stock is very important for Ghostface sets, as it does prevent resets, and it also gives our killer unknown pressure, basically, for our survivors. Very, very difficult for survivors to predict exactly when they will be downed against Ghostface specifically. Nia will be stalked more to get her up to about 80%, and that is two survivors at 80% and a third at 50. Ideally, we find Ada here and try to get her highly stalked as well, possibly even downed. We do find Ace here. He's trapped in a little bit of a corner pallet, and he will be getting fully exposed here. He's playing it pretty risky. Considering he's trapped in this corner, this is a pretty risky one to stay at. Ace using his check spots, but he will be going down. This is not your typical ping match here. A little bit of ping, and we will be seeing Ace going onto his first hook here. This could also be a pain res in theory, and in practice, it is indeed. We'll be kicking this generator again. Keep in mind that I apologize, not pop. Eruption is on a cooldown, so we will not be applying eruption here. But we will be taking an expose onto Kate. I think our killer will take advantage of her being exposed to push her towards the top of the map, but not actually go for her. It's just a little bit of a threat for our survivors to keep them off of the unhook, off of generators, and that is the second survivor exposed here. That is the first generator popped, and we have two survivors exposed and one on the hook. Keep in mind, the only survivor that is uninjured and not exposed is Ada, who has already been hooked once here. Going for this unhook is very, very risky for everyone now, and this is definitely very indicative of the importance of getting your stock and making sure you maintain it, as it does increase your pressure immensely once you get to take advantage of it. As a result of our killer having two survivors already pretty highly stocked, we will be seeing Sin hit second hook. And that will be a killer, I apologize, that will be a survivor on death hook at 4 gens remaining. Our survivors are definitely struggling a little bit against this more traditional playstyle of Ghostface here. It's definitely giving them a hard time here. Ace should be trying to snap our killer out of it, try to keep him out of stock, get a little bit of pressure back for the survivors. The longer this Ghostface is in stock, the longer he can stay at this hook and protect it. And that will be our Ghostface snapped out of it, but we do spot Nia here. Our Ghostface is going to try and prevent her. He successfully prevents her from getting the unhook, and that will be Sin dead at 4 gens remaining. 4 hooks on the board. We will be taking this drop pallet, using it for Olsen's wallet, and going back towards the top of the map where we know Kate has recently been. We do spot Kate pre-leaving here. We'll be taking the kick onto this gen, and it has already hit its maximum regression point. Another thing to note is that I do believe Call of Brine is very heavily nerfed by the most recent changes regarding generators and the amount of times they may be picked. Maybe kicked, I apologize. This makes it very, very difficult for it to be picked and successfully used. That being said, we will be following Kate here, going back towards the bottom side of the map. We will be fully stalking her here, and we will be committing to this, as she should be a relatively fast down here. She will be vaulting into this room, though she can't exactly see where our killer is due to the red stain being voided and her unable to snap him out, and that will be the down. Our killer is going to take her a little bit over towards 6, get the hook, and most likely will be trying to play this bottom 3 gen a little bit. Oh, this gen is pretty highly progressed here. That was not a pain res hook in addition, so this progress will be taking a while to be knocked off here. We do see a generator towards the top side of the map being popped. But we do still have a pretty decent 3 or 4 gen here. Revolving around the middle and bottom of the map. Our survivors really need to be resetting Nia here and trying to get in for at least a single save, possibly a double save. They're going to have to rely on snapping him out of stock and getting in for the unhook. This generator is still regressing, which means there's not much progress on the map aside from the gen that was most recently kicked. Which again, the survivors can't really safely work on while this killer has a hook in the center of his 3 gen and is in Shroud. They really, really have to be stalking. I apologize, knocking him out of stalk here. We do see a survivor is rotating towards the bottom here. It is injured Nia. We see that Ada is somewhat near the Ghostface. I wonder if our Ghostface maybe has noticed and has stalked her at least a little bit. It's important to note that the Kate has hit second hook. Once she is down, she is out of this game. Our survivors have to very carefully play this to make sure that it does not become a 2v1 at 2 gems remaining. That will be Kate going down. Our survivors really have to be pressuring a generator here. If they can manage to get a gen here, it will mean that they've broken the win con, if I remember correctly. But that's going to be very, very difficult to do with 2 survivors remaining at 2 gens left. Just a reminder of the hook stages for our audience here. We do have 1 hook on, I believe it is LeConte, with the other 6 stages being the 2 dead survivors. We do find the fresh hook survivor, and we down them pretty quickly here. I think our killer maybe should have taken a moment to look around and see where the Ada is going, and we do see her here. Eruption coming into play here. If our killer can manage to sneak up on her, get some stock in, and get a quick down here, it will confirm the tie condition. I also have received confirmation that the win con is a 4K1 for our survivors here. Hunt will be stealthing towards the top side of the map. A very interesting position with the bones here. Ideally for our survivors, Nia dies and Ada gets hatched, though it's a very, very difficult thing to do on this map as the hatch is unpredictable. This generator is still regressing. Nia will be progressing to second state, and we still have no information on Ada. I think maybe our killer should have slugged Nia in that situation. Gone for Ada while she had already been exposed, not exposed, but rather displayed with the aura reading of Eruption. And she's moving towards the door. I wonder if it's the door that our killer is waiting at here. It's not. But our killer is moving over here now. This could... Oh, our killer's not checking. Crowd seems to think that Ada will not be stealthing in that corner here. If Lokan is instantly on that door, this could be an out here. Our killer has to find... Oh, Ada is out. And that is the win for Akuma, I believe. Yeah, that's very interesting. A very, very interesting end to our match here. With that being said, I do appreciate you guys hanging out. We will be back very shortly with the next match, which will be, let me check, will be Misery versus Dead Future. I hope you guys will hang out, and we will see you soon.